Peace, love. Listen, what are we going to talk about today? Hit that beautiful like button for the first aspect of this segment. I know that you're coming from TikTok or maybe from somewhere else. But much peace and much love. To see the rest of this video, the full 15, go to Patreon, sign up. Yeah, you know the vibes. What are we going to talk about today? Let's talk about who is the enemy. That's what we'll speak about. Watch Attack on Titan. That's one of the questions that were it was a big highlight in the show. Who is the enemy? Let's be honest. We're constantly at war. So understand that the enemy is negativity. That's the only one that makes sense, right? For those of you tuning in, for the rest of the video, go to Patreon, Black Raps 24/7. I'll have it here. So go to Patreon to see the rest of this and learn more. And this is all part of coursework in finding yourself. Who is the enemy? That's the topic. We'll be diving into that. Now, let's start. A lot of you guys, right, I'm not going to call it a gang. Let's call it a belief system, right? Because everybody's in different belief systems. One thing I know about is you have 500 Christians practicing Christianity 500 different ways. Yeah? The religious aspect is somewhat subjective, right? Everybody practices things differently because fingerprints are unique to the individual. Yeah. Let's talk about it. Who is the enemy? What happens when you say the enemy is you? So let's just say, for example, you got somebody that's crip. He's saying the enemy is Bloods, Decepticons, Transformers, whatever. Right? Shout outs to all these beautiful organizations. Because I know people from these organizations, but this is about the psychological aspect of what these organizations may be doing to your health, right? And I care about you as a person. I cared about me. That's why I escaped the survival paradigm. I escaped hell. Hell is a state of mind. Look into the map of consciousness, the levels of consciousness. I'm at the highest aspect, the 12th dimension. Yeah? And I flow on that frequency habitually. It's the law of habit. Whatever you dive into, the law of habit keeps you in that subconsciously. A lot of you guys got comfortable being at war with things that look like you. What do I mean by that? What do I mean? It's called mental telepathy. I was on the train one day and I saw a man staring at me. And at this, remember, it's not about who you are, it's where you are. And I'm at a space in my life where subconsciously my spirit is very intuitive and very loving and compassionate to who we're becoming. So my past self, present self, and future self have agreed that we are doing this for us, okay? So here's how it goes. A lot of you are going through mental telepathy. But I was on the train and I seen him staring at me and I'm like, what the fuck is he staring at? You know, I'm from Brooklyn. You know how we are. I used to have a lot of situations on the train. Never fought nobody because my intellect, I still had wisdom, never had to fight. I was always a thinker, yeah? Spiritually too. Reason with integrity, that's where I started from. Courage, pride through love, compassion, right? When my mind told me that this man, what I'm seeing is a projection of my perception, I no longer saw him anymore. I no longer had situations on the train. I no longer see those people because I am no longer attracting that. I am no longer in the survival paradigm. That's how serious this is. A lot of motherfuckers go outside looking for their ops, shorter word for opposition, and don't realize that they're attracting versions of themselves. You go outside to kill you. Listen, either way you put it, we're gonna die. And when I say that, I mean there's different planes of consciousness. Learn how to die genuinely in a psychological aspect of all the negative things. Start to sit down through introspection and meditation and self-education and start to declare these habits I may be comfortable with. Maybe I learned them from upbringing or environment, but they're not serving me. Why are they not serving me? Because the outcomes that are happening, they're not good for me. They're not. They're only happening based on my circumstance, who I choose to be. Negative living brings negative consequences. Positive living brings positive consequences. No matter what way you put it, there are consequences. Death is no longer real. Everything exists at once. Everybody knows this. Everybody, including you. You're choosing to be who you want to be. Now ask yourself, who is the enemy? The enemy has to be negativity. Why? Because when you look in the Kabbalion, it says, mastery does not consist of abnormal visions or fantasy, but in using higher vibrations to surpass your lower. Then it talks about the law of rhythm. They talk about the law of neutralization. You watch a movie, and I'll give you my version of it. You watch a movie. Let's say, matter of fact, I was watching Girlfriends. Shout out to William, Joan, Miss Tony Childs, right? What I'll say is this. I know some of you like to go by the real people's name. I don't feel like doing that, right? Let's keep it fiction. I watched that show, and I noticed that Kelsey Grammer is the executive producer behind the show. The executive producer handles the contracts, gets the money, makes sure everything is good with the network. Just found that out, new to me. But the writers, I'm not one of the writers. So even though I want William and Joan to be together, somehow William and Monica make sense, okay? You have to learn to watch the movie and watch the show without being critical, without analyzing it to a point where you want to change the narrative. So now you're releasing energy or negative energy because you got aspects that you would love to happen like I did. I wanted William and Joan to be together, right? Because I understood how it could work. But you have to understand something. It's better that I just watch the show because I didn't write it. If I feel a certain way, it's about time I write my own show. It would make better sense. Listen, a lot of you guys are not living your life. You're living an impression of it. If you're not sitting down to understand yourself, you'll never come to the conclusion, or maybe you did, because your spirit and your soul is always here. It's constant becoming and changing. You've never understood that the enemy is negativity. A lot of the stuff that we're doing, if you notice, as you jump on that pendulum and take part in it from a neutral space, you may have reason and integrity, but the foundation or the nature of that understanding may not be your belief system. Your belief system makes you feel great, cathartic, serendipitous, and it makes you feel loved and genuine to the point where your purpose is effortless. And this has nothing to do with materialistic aspects of things. You have to understand who is the enemy. The enemy is nobody else besides what you think the enemy is. Understand that no matter what you say, it's truth. Truth has two parts, absolute and relative. A lot of you guys don't understand that polarity is real. You can't have hot without cold. Even then, it is still aspects of what temperature is. Nature, degrees. Start looking into your life and understanding, how is this beneficial to me? How am I doing things like this? And I'm only getting transient moments of nirvana. I can't tell you what to be. I can't tell you who to be. But I can tell you that if you're going in a direction where your energy